Well, I use what I see as being my four humanist values: empathy, compassion, reason, and evidence every day when I'm deciding what's true, what the right thing to do is, and how to make the most of the one life that I have. So, for example, I use reason and evidence when I see something in a book, or I hear something on the radio, or see something on the computer, to decide whether or not I think it's likely to be true. And I agree with the philosopher David Hume that a wise man proportions his belief to the evidence. And I'd like to give you an example. When we all had to decide what we were going to do with respect to having a COVID vaccine or not, I looked at all the different evidence that I could see across the world, scientific evidence, and then I worked out for myself that for me, at the age I am, that the best thing to do, given all that evidence, was to have the vaccine. And I also liked the fact that by so doing, I'd be less likely to pass it on to anybody else or waste valuable hospital time. So I use my other two values, empathy and compassion, to decide how I should behave towards other people. The difference between empathy and compassion is that empathy is all about trying to put yourself in somebody else's shoes and see what they might be feeling, whereas compassion is not only feeling sorry for someone, but also trying to do something about it. And I find the humanist version of the golden rule, which is to treat other people as we would like them to treat us in their situation, really helpful in that it helps me to be empathic, to put myself in somebody else's shoes, and then to work out what the best thing to do is. As a humanist, I think it's really important to try and be happy and make the most of the one life that we have. And scientific evidence and our own personal experiences demonstrate that actually trying to be happy has an awful lot to do with helping other people to be happy. And in fact, research even shows that it can help us to live longer.
Just as there are many shades of opinion in any religion, so there are many shades of opinion in humanism. But I think there are three tenets of three behaviours that most humanists would accept. First is empathy, the second is living your life to the full, and the third is reason. Empathy, otherwise expressed as being kind and caring to others, or in the phrase, treat others as you want to be treated. It's known as the golden rule, and it's common to most religions. The second tenet is living your life to the full, making the most of your opportunities and being supportive to others. You only have one life. You should make the most of that life and determine your own future as far as you possibly can. The third tenet is to use reason as far as possible, to determine your own behaviour. And to use reason, you have to access to truth. And it's up to us to be as honest and truthful in our behaviours as we should be. And this is even more important in these days. So humanist reason, humanist principles of empathy, living your life to the full, and reason are not only used by humanists, they're used by good people of religions as well.
Humanists strive to live a good life according to the golden rule, to treat others as you want to be treated yourself, and we focus on this one life we know about and experience. We share this focus on the golden rule with many religions, and in fact, if you strip out the different beliefs in the divine across the different religions, quite often what you're left with is very humanistic in the centre. So there's so much common ground between humanism and the religions. But humanists try to make the most of this one precious life we have for ourselves and for others, rather than the promise of an uncertain afterlife. We do mark life's important moments. There are humanist ceremonies for naming children, humanist marriages and humanist funerals, and pastoral support in prisons and hospitals for the non-religious. It's interesting recently that some recent scientific computer modelling of reciprocal altruism, which is the mathematical term for the golden rule, has shown that in terms of survival, reciprocal altruism is the best strategy for a social species to actually survive and to the next generation. So there is actually an evolutionary advantage basis to the golden rule embedded in nature. And the golden rule has been observed in other socially based creatures such as dolphins, apes and birds.
Humans had to learn to work together. They couldn't hunt a huge auroch or a bison on their own. It took a whole group. The guy in front distracting the beast has to trust his friends will catch it before the beast gets him. Over thousands of years, humans evolved the ability to understand and feel how other people are feeling. We call that empathy. And they discovered that the best way to build that trust necessary for cooperation is to treat others with respect and kindness and honesty, just the way we want to be treated ourselves. That's the golden rule. Treat others as you want them to treat you. So the golden rule is a universal human rule. It's at least 4,000 years old. And I always try to use the golden rule when making ethical decisions. I don't cheat at games because I wouldn't like others cheating on me. I don't betray secrets. I try not to say, tweet or post things that would upset people. When I get given a present, a big cake, say, I know I should share it. And usually I do. On a bigger scale, when I started a software company, I gave shares in the company to all the people who helped me start the company. But like all rules, the golden rule has to be applied carefully. Other people don't like the same things as you. We use empathy to put ourselves into their shoes. What would they like? Humanists think people should be free to do what they want as long as it causes no harm. That's why I prefer do not do to others anything you would not want done to yourself. The golden rule is the key humanist idea that I use in my daily life.